Howdy, everyone. Next up for me, I've decided to go ahead and work on the vents, the cool air vents for the cockpit. I believe I'll have to look to be sure, but I believe this is the last. These are the last items that I need to deal with for this section of the build. I think the vents are the last thing to do with the fuselage kit, I believe. I believe once these are done and installed, the fuselage kit is finished, and I'll be moving back to working on the items in the finishing kit. So like this is the wrong drawing, but here are some of the parts from the latch or the canopy jettison. This was all the very beginning of the finishing kit, but I wanted to do it while I had all of the support structure in place. So I was working a little bit on the fuselage kit, and then I moved on to the finishing kit to do the jettison mechanism stuff. Now the vents, I'm back to the fuselage kit and working on the vents. And like I said, I think this will be it. And then I'll be solely working on the finishing kit and going forward. All right, so anywho, first things first, I'm referencing drawing number 24 as per the instructions because they have, on drawing 24, they have the schematic that you need for the angle bracket for the vent. Now this bracket is made from 0.032 thick, 32 thousandths of an inch thick aluminum angle. Now, I don't have that. I don't know if I've used it on something else or what, but I don't have any of that. So rather than buy some or try to fabricate it from scratch, I'm just using some more rigid aluminum angle. It's a little bit heavier, but I've got a ton of this stuff, so I'm just going to use this. So I basically just made the bracket per the plans, except for the holes. I didn't put any holes in it. I went ahead and made two of these. I've also modified the back shell. Obviously, this is the back part of the vent. The front part of the vent has got the actual adjustment that you use to deflect the air wherever you want it to go or to close it off altogether. And again, this is all explained in the instructions, and you can kind of sort of see it on the print itself where it says how to modify it. So I've done that. I've just went ahead and cut this corner off, and then I rounded it around really nice. I took it all the way down to the radius of the part itself. So you can see here's the square corner, and then you've got the radius here. I went ahead and sanded that all the way back to that radius. And what I like to do, I'll take a Sharpie marker. You can kind of see it there. I'll take a Sharpie and I'll just draw a line right around that radius. And then when you put this on the belt sander and you start sanding it back, you can sand it back to that line. That line gives you a really, really good reference. You can see it really clearly, and you just sand back to that line all the way around. Now that I've had those done, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start laying out my reference lines for the holes. So I found the center. If you look at the drawing here, you've got an overall length of 3 1/8, and then you've got a hole that's in from the edge, 1132, and you've got another one which is in from the edge, 932. You do the math, that would give you the dimension between the holes. Now, I decided not to do offset holes like this, 932 and 1132, because the dimension is so minor. I just went ahead and did them both. I just centered them both on the part. So I did the math and I transferred the lines over here. After I found center, I just measured off center. I'll go ahead and fit the angle to that. And I'll center up the angle. You can see I've got a reference line center of the angle. I'll try to center that best I could with my center line on the part. The other thing that I like to do is I'll hold this curve on the aluminum tight against the radius of the plastic part as best I can. I'll hold that nice and tight against the plastic, and you can see how the aluminum is off. If you just rotate the aluminum around, you can get it so that it's parallel to the plastic. It may not be perfectly centered, but you want it to be parallel with the plastic. And then you just hold it there and you can put your holes through. So what I'll do is I'll figure out my edge distance from this edge here, and I'll mark each of these for the hole. I'll drill this to the appropriate size hole, and then, as I said, I'll fit my aluminum to it so that this edge of the aluminum is parallel to this edge, and this curve that I've cut is tight against the curve on the plastic part. So I'll hold that on there tight, and I'll get it parallel, and then I'll mark through these holes onto this and then drill these holes. That's where I am now. Let me get that done, and then I'll come back and we'll move on.